Hello everyone, welcome to Greyhammer, and it's finally happening. I'm finally bringing Lord Kroak into one of these lists. We've not gotten to because, honestly, he kind of sucked previous in this edition. However, with recent buffs, you actually can make him work. And you might be thinking, well, maybe he can work in 2,000 points, but he's way too expensive for our 1,000 points, and since I've moved on to making some 2,000 points lists, you might think this is a 2,000 point list, but believe it or not, in this 1,000 point list, we're going to have an Engine of the Gods and Lord Kroak, two units that have historically suffered, but have gotten recent big buffs, some in points and some in war scrolls. And I really think this is going to be a great video. I also want to say Merry Christmas, everyone. This is coming out the week of Christmas, so I just want to say Merry Christmas. If you are enjoying this type of content, may I recommend please go ahead, like this video, and subscribe to my page. I've got a lot of other Warhammer Army lists, and I'm really excited to be making some more. Hopefully we can get some... we'll get the Stormcast Battle Tome soon, and I can make some lists for them as well, because I've been focused on Seraphon a lot, which I really enjoy. This is my sort of been playing them since 2016 when I was 16 years old, so been really engrossed in Seraphon for a long time, and they're my favorite army. But Stormcast new models for their Stormstrike look pretty sick, and I've got some Stormstrike Paladors that I'm just itching to run in some lists for. But so keep in tune for that. If you want to see those kinds of lists, go ahead and subscribe and comment what kind of lists you'd like to see. I can cover other lists for other factions, but those will require a little bit more research on my part because I don't know their factions as well, so we'll just have to be looking at their stats and kind of making educated guesses. So let me know if there's any factions I should make some list for. And let me know what factions you think it would be cool for me to start up with. Might not happen anytime soon, but let's get into the list already. Enough yapping. This is going to be an interesting list. Lord Kroak. Technically he's your general because he's War Master. Also technically can't bring any artifacts or enhancements of any kind with this one until we get our battle tome and hopefully get some mount traits or something like that to be able to use as enhancements. Got no hero in this list because they took that away from the Engine of the Gods recently, but I don't know if you've noticed, but Engine of the Gods is ridiculously cheap now at 180 points. It can be a really good utility piece now with healing, resurrection, and strike first capabilities. With some pretty decent durability against units, does some mortal damage, and just all around pretty good monster at 180 points. Skink Chief on Stegadon also got reduced in price to 200. For some odd reason, regular Stegadon's at 220 right now. Probably just to make sure you don't go super crazy on the Stegadons, but it's looking good right now. 2 units of 10 Source Warriors, they went down 10 points apiece, which is nice. And Terror Wings also went down, I believe, 20 points to 70. So that rounds you off as exactly 1,000 points, and I am really thinking that this list is going to be really cool. So let's break it down and see what kind of makes this list important. So, asterisms. I think Tapak the Seer is the one you're going to go, and I normally wouldn't say this. When we expand this to 2,000 points, I will almost assuredly say go Tapak the Seer, because add 1 to casting rolls for Lord Kroak makes it really good, because he already gets +2, so that means you're getting +3 to your casting. So, really good there. Quetzal the Preserver is another good one. Honestly, you could go Itzel the Tamer as well to get those crit 2 hits on your Engine of the Gods, but it won't apply for the rest of your army. So I think Quetzal the Preserver can be good in both making Lord Kroak more survivable, because now you don't really have to bring him forward to make him super aggressive, so Rend will always be worse against him if they're attacking him. And your Source Warriors are really good defensively, and I think Lord Kroak makes it so that you make them have to come to you with his new War Scroll changes. Think it's really, really good. So I think Tapak the Seer would be great. And so as long as you have a slain on the battlefield by the end of battle round 3, by the start of the battle round 3, as long as you've got Lord Kroak still kicking around, which isn't that difficult to do, you'll get the next one, which you could pick Quetzal the Preserver or Itzel the Tamer, depending on how you feel. So let's get into some other things. I think Sunclaw Starhost is the one that makes the most sense. Give those source units some pile-ins and mortal damage. There's also a decent argument for the teleportation one, but I think you're going to be playing super defensive, so I think this is just a better one to bump up your damage numbers. So, spell lore. I've been told by some people on the comments that this is the better spell lore here. I've been using the other one, and I can definitely see it. So, Mystical Unforging would be a spell. It's a visible enemy unit within 12, so it is short range, and casting roll of 2d6, and allows you to subtract 1 from the rend characteristic of the target's weapons until the start of your next turn. It is an unlimited spell. Let me know in the comments, I'm sure I'll get comments on it, whether unlimited can come from the same caster. I don't think it can, but let me know. Because if that's the case, then Lord Kroak could cast this 3 times and really nuke someone's rend, or 3 different targets' rend. I assume you can't stack the spell on top of the same target, but could be really strong. If you can put it on multiple targets from Lord Kroak. But nevertheless, even just having it for the 1 cast is pretty good. Speed of Huanchi can make your guys move a little bit faster, where you're picking a friendly Seraphon wizard, pick a visible friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 12, can give them run and still shoot and or charge. So you could do that on the Engine of the Gods or your Saurus to make those charge rolls significantly better. And then Comet's Call, you're kind of offensive against hordes. You pick a friendly Seraphon wizard, pick a visible enemy unit within 18, then make a casting roll of 2d6. And just remember, you'll be getting +1 to cast on all of these, and Lord Kroak's innate plus 2 to cast, I believe. We'll get to his warscroll in just a second. Meaning, some of these, you only need to show 3 on the dice to get them. And on this one, you only need 4. But you'd roll a dice for each model in the target unit for each 5-up, inflict mortal damage. Can be pretty useful. So Lord Kroak's warscroll. He's a beast, and he's also really, really complicated. So, we gotta get into this. 18 health, 5-inch move, 4-up save, control 5. He's got a shooting attack with a 12-inch range. 1 attack, 2s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 2, d6 damage, and can shoot in combat. Means that even when you lock him down in combat, he still can be pretty, honestly, nasty. That's a pretty good shooting attack that's somewhat reliable. The Azerite Force Barrier is 2d6 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1, 1 damage, crits are mortals. So, honestly, he's not the worst in melee compared to what he was in the past. He does add 2 to casting rolls, and recently they added it so he's +1 to unbind and banishment rolls. He can also unbind anywhere on the battlefield instead of 30 inches of a wizard, so really good deny to enemy spellcasters. You can also use those banish on enemy manifestations, and +2 to casting and unbinding just really makes him a reliable sorcerer. So you'll be getting +3 to casting with this list, which is really useful. Can definitely tell you. He's got this other ability, Dead for Innumerable Ages, meaning that you must use this ability each turn while it's damaged. End of any turn, which means yours or your opponent's, which means this is a really good ability. You roll 3d6 and add the number of damage points that the unit has to the roll. So you need to have at least taken 2 damage for this to even matter. Otherwise, you might as well just heal 18. But on a 20+, he's destroyed. So if he had taken 2 damage and you rolled triple 6s, that would be a 20+, so he would be destroyed. Otherwise, you heal 18 to this unit. So heal him back to full, basically. So really, really good. It's very iffy, because if you take the average of that roll is like an 11. So if you do 9 points of damage to him, On average, you kill him with the 3d6, but maybe you don't. He also has the Arcane Vassal, picking a friendly Skink Wizard. Not going to be important on this list, but you can pick a Skink Wizard wholly within 18 to measure spell from it. It is once per turn, so I don't think it's as strong as it used to be. Let me know in the comments if you can use this multiple times with him. I don't think so. In fact, I know so. It's once per turn. So you used to be able to do this multiple times per turn, and so you could keep him out of trouble and just use that for your spells to put him on like a Troglodyte and make the Troglodyte cast Lord Kroak spells. But this is the big thing about him. His spell Celestial Deliverance, casting value of 7. He can cast this spell more than once per phase. You pick up to 3 different visible enemy units within 18 now. It used to be within 12 to be the targets, and make a casting roll of 2d6. And inflict d3 mortal damage on each target. It used to be on a 2-up, inflict d3 mortal damage each target. So really, really, really makes his damage longer range and more reliable, which is really good because he's 430 points. You want him to do something. He's also War Master, unique. That's why you can't put any enhancements on him. He's a hero. Wizard 3, so he can cast 3 spells, so you can cast that Celestial Deliverance 3 times. And he has a ward of 4-up, so 4-up save, 4-up ward makes him significantly more survivable. I think he could be really good. You don't even have to have Source Guard because they don't actually help him, which is a little unfortunate. I liked them being his wound batteries, but I think the Source Warriors can keep enemies out from melee as much as possible, and I think he's really good right now. I think these warscroll changes really made him worth his points. Engine of the Gods, 180 points for 14 health, 8-inch move, 4-up save, control 5. Now you're missing out on shooting with the Engine of the Gods with only 6 attacks at a 12-inch range, 4s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, 1 damage, and can shoot in combat, so you do have that. Just little piddly bits of damage. Stegodon's Horns and Jaws, 6 attacks, 4s to hit, 2s to wound, rend 1, 2 damage. On the charge, it's 3 damage, and it's companion attacks. So you could get the crit 2 hits, which would be pretty good on him, especially on the charge. While this unit has 10 or more damage points, you bring his attacks down to 4. He has the once per turn in any combat phase Crest of Horns, where you pick an enemy unit that charge, so he's kind of defensive as well, and is in combat with this unit. Roll a d3 on a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll, and you'd add 1 to save rolls for attacks made by that enemy unit that target this unit. So you would get a 3-up save instead of a 4-up against the unit that you rampaged against. The complicated thing for the Engine of the Gods is he has the Cosmic Engine. You'll pick if it's Harness or Reserve. If you Harness, you place a Cosmic Power token. If you Reserve, you put a Cosmic Power token on him. If you'll Harness, then you roll a dice and add the number of Cosmic Power tokens to the roll. Then remove all Cosmic Power tokens and pick one of the following effects. On a 3-up, so you do get to pick the effect. So even if you roll like a 6-up, you can pick the Healing Light. So on a 3-up, you can heal D3 all friendly Seraphon units wholly within 18. Pretty good, especially if you're going for a monster-heavy list, which I think is more viable now. We'll get into that later. Starlight Summons, on a 5-up, you can pick up to 3 friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12 and return a slain model to the unit. So I think he could be really useful for a mass Saurus list as well. Or Time Slows. On a 6-up, you can pick up to 3 friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12. They get strike first for the rest of the turn. I think he's a really good utility piece at 180 points. You have the ability to get strike first. You can bring back models to a unit, or you can heal your monsters. So Kroak, Saurus, all of those benefit from them. Even Skinks, not as well, but I think Engine of the Gods is good right now. And I used to play him all the time, even though he was sucky. You could do some crazy things with him, but I think this is great. We'll get into some other ways you can use him. Saurus Warriors, we've gone over them a lot. Really solid defensive infantry, but I don't feel like I need to cover them because Their war scroll is pretty simple. You should check my other videos if you want to learn more about Saurus warriors. Terra Wings, really not much to say about them. 2 health, 12-inch move, 5 up save, control 1. They are a beast, so their max control is always 1. 3 attacks apiece, 4 is to hit, 4 is to wound, no rend, 1 damage. And its companion. Their ability is in your shooting phase. You pick an enemy unit within 10, roll a d3. If it exceeds the target's control characteristic, the target cannot use commands for the rest of the turn. So if something's control 1, then you need a 3, 4, 5, or 6, and then they can't use commands. Could be really clutch, but not the strongest thing, but it's the cheapest thing in the Seraphon army, with only costing 70 points. So Lord Kroak can either debuff enemies, or you can deal mortal damage, or you can even buff your allies with increasing their move. I think he's really good, a good magical piece now. Engine of the Gods can heal, bring back units, alongside dealing damage and buffing up your Saurus warriors, or itself giving itself strike first. Saurus warriors can defend objectives and act as a strong wall to defend Lord Kroak, and the Terror Wings can supplement the Saurus warriors with their debuffs to make it so that their Saurus warriors are even more resilient. I am really excited with seeing how I can fit Lord Kroak and Engine of the Gods in more lists, because I think they're really good. I think the Stegadon Chief is also really good right now. So we'll definitely have to get into kind of how we can run these different lists. But the problem with the Stegadon with Skink Chief is he still can only have 1 monster in his regiment. So it's better to run Sora's Old Blood on Carnosaur, who got significantly cheaper. So we'll definitely be talking about that Stegageddon list, probably including some Engines of the Gods, because I think it's going to be really good for Seraphon in the near future. If you have any questions about this list, please feel free to comment below. If there's rules that you think I got wrong or can help clarify, go ahead. I really appreciate it. I'm still new to this edition, so learning a lot as I go. If you'd like to see this list go into battle and get a battle report, let me know in the comments as well. Again, subscribing is always helpful as well. Trying to hit 150 subscribers by the new year. It's not looking great on that field, but we can definitely do it if you go ahead and click the subscribe button on this video. But yeah, I really appreciate all the support from everyone. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.